Today I would like to talk to you about the concept of firstborn. One of the basic tools used to properly understand the scriptures is audience relevance. For example, if I were to say that performer is cool in 1800, others might wonder why I was speaking of his temperature. Today, almost everyone knows it means I appreciate his talent or personality, etc. In the same way, the Hebrews that were inspired to write Scripture wrote it as they would understand it. The concepts and meanings of words change over time. This is especially true when translating text written within a culture so vastly different than our own. Colossians 1:15. He is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation. For centuries, this has been taught to mean that Christ pre-existed or was the first to be born in the family of God, that he was in existence first before all other men. This concept does not line up with what the Hebrew thinkers of Christ's time would have understood. It is important to note that firstborn does not necessarily mean first birthed. It is not a conclusive indicator of chronological order. There are many examples and reasons why God chose outside of birth order for the firstborn. Notice the examples of firstborn that were not first birth. Why was Isaac the firstborn over Ishmael? Because Isaac was the promised son through Sarah. Why was Jacob over Esau? Because Jacob was the prophesied son through Rebekah. Why was Joseph over Reuben? Joseph was the favored, chosen son of Jacob because Reuben sinned. Why was Ephraim over Manasseh? Ephraim was the adopted son elevated to the level of being a son of Israel. In all of these cases, the firstborn was not the first birthed in chronology. It was not about order of birth or time frame of birth, but about being appointed and chosen by God. It is a position of authority and blessing appointed to a man. The firstborn would follow the patriarch into the leadership position. In that position, he would judge decisions in the family. And in all cases, the younger son was appointed by his natural father or by God. Do we see Jesus appointed to anything in Scripture? Acts 17:31. Because he has fixed a day in which he will judge the world in righteousness through a man, whom he has appointed, having furnished proof to all men by raising him from the dead. Acts 10:42. And he ordered us to preach to the people and solemnly to testify that this is the one who has been appointed by God as judge of the living and the dead. Hebrews 3:2. He was faithful to him who appointed him, as Moses also was in all of his house. The blessing of the firstborn is not about being the firstborn physically. It is about God's promises, prophecies, choices, and adoption. Here is another interesting scripture. David, who is a foreshadow of Christ, is appointed firstborn by God, even though he is the youngest in chronological order. Psalms 89, verses 27 and 28. I shall make him my firstborn, the highest of the kings of the earth. My loving kindness I will keep for him forever, and my covenant shall be confirmed to him. Clearly, this is another proof that the firstborn in time is not necessarily the one who receives the firstborn position with all of its blessings. To the Hebrew mind, when someone is introduced as the firstborn, it is about the one who receives the double portion and is blessed to become head of the family by his father. This is regardless of his order of birth. It may be the first one born, it may not. Christ is appointed firstborn in authority over that which fills the kingdom. That's us, the saints. Because of his perfection and work, not because of the beginning time frame of his existence. In our original verse, Colossians 1, verse 15, note carefully that Christ is called the image of the invisible God. An image of something is not the original. It reflects or represents the original. Hebrews 1:3. And he is the radiance of his glory and the exact representation of his nature, and upholds all things by the word of his power. When he had made purification of sin, he sat down at the right hand of the Majesty on high. Again, Christ is a representation of God's nature. It is also important to note that the right hand of Majesty is a position of power and authority, not a literal place. Hebrews 2:17. Therefore he, Christ, had to be made like his brethren in all things, so that he might become a merciful and faithful high priest in things pertaining to God, to make propitiation for the sins of the people. It was necessary for Christ to be like his brethren in all things. This was necessary not only so he could fulfill the human calling of high priest, but also that he could be the perfect, unquestionable example for his brethren. Jesus, the firstborn, is a position he was appointed to by God. It is a position of authority and not an indicator of chronological order. This is C.W. Fruth, thanking you for watching this short video. I hope it was a blessing to you. If you would like more information on the nature of Christ, how he works in the plan of God, how you can be part of the plan of God, then I invite you to pick up a copy of my book. It is entitled, Jesus, My Brother, My Lord. It is available on Amazon.com in the Kindle format, but there are also other applications available if you do not have a Kindle. You can watch it on a PC or Mac computer, or any smartphone, or any other type of tablet. Again, thank you very much for your time, and I hope this video was a blessing to you.